I'm back. Okay, this is the last part of Daniel chapter 12, and it's kind of the overlay of Revelation, but this brings you through the end of tribulation and what to look for again. And my last video is about the things that will be occurring during that time, which is Revelation chapter 13. It gives you the overview of Satan's throne and the things that he'll be doing. So, and the people involved basically helping to build it up. But he brings it up out of the sea of people, the world. So, anyway, let's get on with this. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. Let's get to it. So this is the end of tribulation at this point. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. So it's Israel and Judah. The 10 are the 12 tribes. And there shall be a time of trouble. So this is going back, telling you what the overview of Satan's tribulation. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So it's going to be like the time of Noah, except for this time, I'm going to turn this off. Now I'm going to get a video or somebody calling. So at this time, it's going to be you're going to have the fallen angels there, the original ones that came down, who are actually locked up right now, chained up with Satan. And they will be cast out of heaven by Michael and the angels up there, and boom, onto the earth. So, and Satan knows that he has only a short time. And this is why it's going to get so intense and so deceptive, because he's the father of lies and deception and jealousy and envy, because he envies Christ. He wants to take that throne. Okay. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So God is going to be taking back the people, Israel, and putting them into their own tribes for the millennium. And like how it was set up also in Ezekiel, if you go to chapters 40, and I think it's to 45. But if you read all that, then you can understand more about what the millennium is going to be like. And but we'll all be in spiritual bodies. So at this time, everybody's being gathered up. The branches are together. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Those who have died already have risen with when Christ died. If you believe that Christ rose, then you believe that everybody else also rose. Some to everlasting life, which is those who love God and who are worshiping him. And some to shame and everlasting contempt. Okay. This is, right now there's two sides of paradise. There is the good side and the bad side. The good side obviously is Christ's own. And then you have the bad side, which rejected Christ. And these people have made a decision. They know the truth. Everybody who doesn't make it to the eternity makes a conscious decision, knows who Satan is, and they choose him rather than God. And what happens is at the great white throne judgment, they will be thrown into the lake of fire. And just as Satan is in Ezekiel, where he is blotted out, he is destroyed from within. His spirit no longer exists. Nobody will even know him. He's wiped out of your memory. And just like, friends and family that didn't make it, they will be blotted out too, so that, it says that there will be no more tears in heaven, and that's why you're not going to remember these people that didn't make it. And they're not going to be in everlasting fire screaming and yelling. That wouldn't be right either. And the Bible doesn't say that. It says they're blotted out forever. That means that they're not ever coming back. God only wants those who love him. And he can't make people love him. That just wouldn't, he would have robots. So it's your choice. And it all comes down to choices. Okay, verse 3, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So these are the 7,000 very elect and the saints and things like that. So that we're all considered stars. And I had actually heard or read that you have your own star up there representing you. So, that was kind of cool. Whether it's true or not, it's kind of cool. 4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. So Daniel is just seeing all this and reporting it, but it's not going to happen in his time. So he's basically saying, it's not going to happen while you're still here. It's going to be a while. And many shall run to and fro. So you're talking about the end, running to and fro, confusion, the apostasy. People will be very confused, especially when the 7,000 begin to speak, and they hear this, and they're just, wait a minute, and knowledge shall be increased. And the wickedness, of course, will increase because of the fact that you have Satan there saying he's God. Okay. Verse 5, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river, Tigris and Babylon. So they're on both, one side on the other side, looking at each other. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? So how long is this going to be, and how long to the end with Christ's return? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him, God, that liveth forever, that it shall be a times, and 3.5 times. So it's going to be a times, and a half. 3.5 times. And when he, which is the Antichrist, shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, deceive them, all these things shall be finished. So you have to wait for the man of perdition to come on board and to be delivered up, and that's basically it. You just got to get through it, and you will. No problem. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the sealed till the time of the end. So back then, he would not have understood everything, because it took many, many years, decades, everything to reach to that point when Christ died at 33 AD, and then 1948 when the parable of the fig tree with the good figs and the bad figs in Jerusalem, which meaning the bad figs are the Kenites, the tares, same thing, the Goyim, Satan's seed, along with Judah. So, and the Kenites call themselves Jews, but aren't. They're like Satan, they copy. 10. Many shall be purified, their eyes opened when the 7,000 speak, and made white. They've become pure from the lies, so God forgives them and brings them back into the fold. And tried in life, tried in, just basically living. Life is not perfect, and it's not a bowl of cherries. I mean, we all have our own little struggles and things, but that's just life. But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So, basically, the good will get better, the bad will get worse. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, so the time of 33 AD, when Christ was nailed to the cross by the Kenites, and the abomination that maketh desolate, that's Satan coming in saying he is Christ, set up, just like in Nebuchadnezzar when he set up the idol and told everybody to worship. Well, this time it's him. You have to worship me. There shall be 1,290 days. Let's see. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest. Some will die in death, going up, and stand in the lot at the end of days. So he is coming back. Daniel is coming back with Christ. And this formula, you have to go back to 33 AD when Christ was killed, and then 1948, the parable of the fig tree. And when you do this calculation, it's for the season when things are going to change, and it's not a date per se, but it's like a major sign, and it ends up to be 1981. Well, what happened in 1981? The parable of the fig tree, that was 1948, but Mount St. Helens, that was when I first heard about this weird celestial body crossing. I was walking home from school, and I had my Walkman, and it was on the news, and I hadn't even thought about that part of the similitude. I mean, I didn't understand what it was to begin with. And when I heard that, I'm like thinking, God is returning now. I'm not going to be able to, I mean, my selfish self was like, I'm not going to be able to, ever get married or know what it's like to have a drink or go to college or anything like that. And anyway, I was freaking out. So I went to my mom, and I'm just like, and I had never told her, never said, hey, I had a near-death experience. And this is what I saw. So when I came home, I was pretty scared. And that whole side of the family are all Lutherans, and there's pastors, and anyway, they're pretty religious. And my mom was standing in the living room, and I said, oh my gosh, I have to tell you something. And she's like, what? And I told her about the Isaiah similitude that I saw with the earth tilting back and forth, to and fro, and then tips upside down, and then goes back and goes that way. And she looked freaked out after I said that, because I studied the Bible, but I didn't know really how to study the Bible or how to interpret things or anything. So I had no idea that was actually in the Bible. And she's like, oh. And she freaked out so much. She's like, is that going to happen now? And I'm like, well, like in my lifetime, and I believe in yours too. And she's like, oh, what do we do? And all this. And I'm like, I don't know. So she wanted to start really studying the Bible with me, but I was just this dumb kid, and I'm, just headstrong. And anyway, we ended up getting into an argument, and we never spoke about it again. So anyway, she does ask me from time to time now, like where we are. And I don't know if she told her brothers, my uncles, anything about it, but she really treated me a lot differently after that happened. Anyway, that's just a little short story, kind of funny. Anyway, my next videos will be around deep into prophecy and how we get through it, and that's about it, guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.